Again, everything that I'm aware of
Okay.
in terms of process that was performed with this particular family was well within the process as I understand it to be. And again, if we were able to find any kind of deviation from that, that would obviously give us an opportunity to exercise the authority I do have over the agency.
Okay, well, let me ask you something. What process are you saying that you're saying that you looked at this situation and found that they were following the process? What process did they follow that was right? That's what I'm trying to get to you. Because I haven't seen one. So name a couple that they followed that was right.
The ultimate one that I think is in my judgment, most critical to me, is having some sense of the general safety and well-being of the children that is ultimately given to that agency to decide upon. Hold on 1 second. That's right. And I think ultimately that's the.
Well, we get that. I mean that's called FCCS. Their title is Child Protective Agency. Everyone would know that. Come on, everyone would know that. I'm talking about past that, past. You going and seeing what process have they followed correctly in the last year. Let me just take the last year.
Well, I think it almost wants the same thing. Is what I'm trying to say.
But I'm back to you. What you're saying that you know the process and you believe that they have a responsibility to keep the girl safe. Fine. What other process did you see that was followed in the last year? Because it's not just that as a process. Do you realize there are other processes that they're supposed to go to under law? Okay. And that we're paying our federal dollars, our taxpayers' dollars for them to do. You do understand that there are processes beyond, okay, is a child safe? There's a process they have to follow. So I'm asking you, Mr. Stowe, what process do you see that they followed after this, after they checked to see if the girls were safe? What process do you see after that they followed according to their own procedures and according to federal and state law? Just give me a couple processes that they followed.
Well, again, ultimately, Ms. Ken, what I'm trying to share with you is this.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Our understanding of what took place in this particular
You understand
case,
what? That's what I'm trying to ask. What took place in this situation?
Well, the whole issue involving the continual assessment of the progress of the children is part of their process. There's an ongoing...
What team assessment?
And mental health process that's part of their process.
Okay, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Ongoing...
That's what I'm trying to tell you. They did not follow that process. I'm trying to tell you they did not follow that process.
Ms. Ken, that's not what we're getting on this end.
Wait a minute. What do you mean that's not what you're getting? What are you? Where can they show you that they're following? What paperwork? Because my understanding from Simmel and Miss Stewart and anyone else I talked to, Miss Greer, that they've never been able to get any paperwork showing that they followed any process.
What we've not been able to get, Ms. Ken, has been the file of the young person.
So how do you know they're following their process? That's what I'm trying to ask you, Mr. Stowe. How do you know they're following their process? Because I've studied the paperwork, and I'm just asking you, where are you getting that they're following their process? I hear you give me some general process, like they're supposed to protect and they're supposed to assess, but I guess I'm trying to get, where are you getting that they're protecting and assessing? Where do you get that proof from? Because Mrs. Stewart has shared with you proof that they're not following the process. In fact, did you hear the tape?
No, Ms. Ken, I did not.
Okay, do you realize that the tape, that the head of the FCCS, the second in charge center, and also the third person, which is the client's rights person, Ken Cohen, are on tape, and Ken Cohen says there's I could find absolutely no reason for these girls not to be allowed visitation. Now, this is after months of talking to them, because we started talking to them back in April. And this meeting was in June. I'm sorry, this meeting was August, July, or something like that. And he said in the meeting, and then Simmel listened to the tape, and he was shocked. So you tell me, if the person that works there, look through the file. He got an opportunity to look through the file.
Mm-hmm.
If he sits and you hear him say it on a tape, his own voice say it, there is nothing, absolutely nothing in the file to stop visitation by this family. I can see no reason why these girls are isolated from the only family they've ever known. To me, this is inhumane. Now, I don't know about you, but he's the one that said it. So what proof do you have that they're doing the right thing?
Well, again, what I made my judgment on, and I stand by that, is there was a final assessment done by the agency head.
And do you have the assessment?
For which he reviewed all of the information that was before him pertaining to this child's children's situation.
Who did? Who reviewed all the information?
That's the letter we've got in our file.
That he reviewed? He sat up there. Wait a minute. How are you going to say that when the man sat up there in the meeting with Ken Cohen and said, make it happen? I talked to Ken Cohen weeks after that, 3 weeks after that, and he was saying, Ken Cohen is saying to me, Mr. Soros wants it to happen, Mr. Fedder wants it to happen, I want it to happen, but these two women that what's-her-name has been talking about the whole time, that there's some vendetta that they have against Mrs. Stewart and her family, would not let it happen. Now, what, you want me to give you that tape, or you won't believe that either? Now, that's Mr. Soros himself. He's on the tape. Mr. Soros himself is on the tape. Mr. Soros is the one that asked Mr. Cohen to give him a report on the situation on the tape. Because Mr. Cohen said, I was very surprised that he asked me what the deal was. He said, but since he asked me, I told him. So that's the proof we have. So now you're going to tell me, because I want to get this straight. You're going to tell me, because you got a letter, because I really, really want to understand this. You're trying to tell me, because you got a letter signed by Mr. Soros saying that I'm doing the right thing. That's all you needed?
No, Ms. King, what I'm
sharing,
I am sharing with you that I did get a letter from him who indicated that there had been a reassessment of the total case, and on this letter he indicated that from his judgment, and he has the ultimate authority in this case, that he deemed that the current situation involving the care of these two children remained in the best interest of the two children as far as the agency was concerned with the agency at this time. He also says in the letter that he'd be willing certainly to reconsider or to reevaluate the situation at a later time, but at this time...
I'm so glad he can play God with little girls' lives.
Well, that's the power we've given that agency.
Oh, really? I didn't give him that power. I didn't give him the power of God. You know what? God. You know what you would do? So if he screwed the little girls, if they were getting screwed, if someone's sexually assaulting them, and John Soros said it wasn't happening, that would be satisfactory to you, too.
No, ma'am.
Because, you know what? You know I don't want to hear this. You know I don't want to hear this. I'm so disappointed.
Ms. Ken,
Is there anything you can do for children? Is there anything that the community relations can do for children to make their lives better? Because I brought you a case where two little girls were beat down. You couldn't do anything about that. I bring you a case where two little girls, in fact, I didn't bring it to you. Miss Stewart brought it to you, and Tabitha Stokes brought it to you also because she talked to them too. They bring you 4 children in the most egregious situations, and you haven't changed their lives one iota. Not one iota, and you call yourselves the community relations. That means if this man decides, if this whole family decides to go and blow them away, you will be all right with it. It'll be all right, right? It'll be all right if they go and shoot somebody. It'll be all right with the community relations office, right?
Miss Kent.
Because that's what you're asking the community to do. You're asking them to take the law into their own hands because you will not insist that people follow it because they're white.
Let me just say this, Miss Kent. I have always, for the last 4 or 5 years, been respectful to you. I asked.
You're not being respectful. Let me just tell you this. I don't need your respect, Mr. Stowe, if you are going to allow children to suffer. You can keep the respect if you allow children to suffer. You can keep it.
You do deserve my respect because you are a customer of mine, period. That's how I do all the business.
I don't want your respect if your respect means children have to suffer.
If I cannot, we need to finish this conversation because you're not being respectful to me. So if
you're such a lucky man.
I can't do anything
You're
further.
lucky man.
I apologize.
You're a lucky
I will
man.
not continue the conversation with you're being disrespectful to me.
I'm not being respectful. I'm upset about 2 children that are enslaved. If you think that's disrespectful to you for me to care about 2 children, then I'm sorry for you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything you're going to do? Because you're right. There's no sense in talking to your organization anymore because I'm getting a little tired. Is there anything that you guys are going to do first and foremost? You haven't done anything about the Burma Dalton situation with Frank Mitchell. You haven't done anything about the children that were beat down, and you haven't done anything about the children that are in FCCS. And I'm asking you, do I need to call you guys anymore? Because the children's lives aren't changing, and what happens is
we cannot help you, Ms. Kent.
they retaliate. They retaliated against the children. That's what you did. Now he's going to leave them entrapped because he got the permission of the mayor's office to leave them entrapped.
That is not true, Ms.
Yes, he did. When he wrote to the letter, he got permission.
That is not true, Ms. Kent.
You don't get that, do you? Because you're not on the other end of it. You're not the person suffering.
It's not
so
true.
You don't get that they're going to suffer. You don't get that they're going to suffer. Let me tell you how they suffered. Remember that time I called the office about the about the young lady that did not feel, one of the little girls that was beat down that did not feel safe in her neighborhood? I called the office. I called your community relations office, and I said something has to be done. They feel fearful in their neighborhoods. What you guys did was call someone. I don't know who you called, the school system or whatever, but those girls were searched the next day. You don't get what you're doing to these children.
Ms. Kent, again, if with what we tried to do,
they were searched.
Assist. If it's not been helpful, then we need to pull back and not cause any additional hurt or harm to person. If you believe that's what's going on, I don't agree with you. That's all. We just don't agree.
Okay, then I'll tell you what. Why don't you tell me what you're going to be able to do for the 2 girls that were beat down and the 2 girls that are entrapped in slavery?
Ms. Kent, I don't agree with your assessment of the situation, number one.
Okay, let's say that I'm...
And I've already said to you what we've already
How
done.
can you get them out?
But we've already
Can you help get them out? At all? Can you help get them out at all? I'm just asking you, can you help get these 2 girls out?
Ms. Kent, no, we cannot.
Okay.
Not.
So, you're just giving her lip service.
No, ma'am, we were not.
Yeah.
We have spent time and effort.
Now they're going to hurt her. Now they're going to hurt those children even more. Thank you very much. Now you're going to hurt those children even more.
And we're at the situation where we are right now.
You're going to hurt them even more. That's what you did. That's what you did. You gave John Sauce a rubber stamp from the mayor's office.
Ms. Kent,
you gave the school system a rubber stamp.
You feel that way, Ms. Kent, then you feel that way, but I disagree.
You know what? You can disagree all day long. It's not your children.
Well, Ms. Kent, again, we disagree.
As long as yours is sitting safe. But you know what? I'm so glad that I care about other people's children besides mine.
I too.
Oh, right. That's why you're calling and you're upset and you're like, what's going on here? No. So you think a letter from Sauls would have done it for me?
Ms. Kent, I don't know that.
You already know that. That's why I'm talking to you now. You already know a letter from Sauls. You already know I don't think Sauls is God. You may think he's God, but you know what? That's what they count on, the race card. I try to tell white people that black people are just as racist as they are. Because you're counting on that, aren't you, Mrs. Stowe? Our skin is black, so you know that you don't have to do anything for us.
We need to end this conversation, Ms. Kent. This is no longer productive.
You know what? You have not been productive at all as a community relations office.
Thank you, Ms. Kent.
All you do is give us lip service.
Thank you, Ms. Kent.
Well, don't thank me.
Thank you, Ms. Kent.
Do something. Be a man.
Thank you, Ms. Kent.